Clips. Hello, Muhammad Ali. Alberta checking in. Excellent. Right, I need to go live on TikTok as well. We're multitasking here, folks, as ever. How are you doing, Euro Clips? Oh, you're up there. How are you doing, TikTok? Good. Haven't seen you go live before. Should be interesting. Good luck. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Thanks everyone for joining. Welcome everyone on Coin Bureau Clips. Welcome everyone on TikTok. It is Thursday. It's Thursday, and that's about as good as can be said about it, really, isn't it? GM, GA, GE, G, wherever you are. Where are you all? Someone saying hi from Melbourne. Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Where else? Namaste from India. Hi from Switzerland. Hi from Nottingham. Wonderful. All the best, guy from Essex. Ah, fantastic. Okay, so I'm presuming, can we just, so as my glamorous assistant can leave us be, everyone getting good sound and a good picture? I mean, you know, I can't do anything about this, but is the sound and lighting generally okay? Everyone happy? Well, I mean, it's not really a day to be happy, is it? It's not really that. Okay, I think we're good. We're getting thumbs up. We are generally getting, sound is good, all good. Good afternoon, looks perfect. Thumbs up all round. Hi from Worcester. Guy, did you sleep well? I slept pretty well, yeah. I slept pretty well. Yeah, we're good, I think. How did I sleep? Yes, I slept well, thanks. How about you? How is everyone getting on? Right, I must remember, sort of, I've got comments down here and you guys are up there, so I need to look you in the eye more, a bit of eye contact. That's what my mum always said. Very important. How are you all doing? It's very good of you to join me on this Thursday. When, well, shall we do it? Shall we have a look at the market? Shall we see what the market is saying? Let's have a look. I'm using a new tablet here to keep my notes on. So that, oh crikey, okay, BTC slipped below 19k, Ethereum continuing its slide. How about XRP, eh? Wow, yeah. No, don't worry, folks. I'm going to talk about XRP in a short while. Let me just close some tabs that I don't need, so I'm not cluttering my screen. And once a few more people have joined us, I will lead off with what I'm going to talk about today. Howdy from Philadelphia, USA. Good to see you. Good to have you joining. Guy, how is Dubai? I can tell you it's 40 degrees Celsius. Obviously not in here, but Dubai is, I'm enjoying it very much. It is very, very hot. I am still struggling to get used to that. But other than that, having a very good time, working very, very hard. Sometimes I just forget that I'm here because I'm just so sort of busy here in the office. What do you think now? Last week, if you joined us for the live stream last week, you might have noticed we had a sort of much kind of brighter background. I've kind of come into the studio that we've been using here a bit. It's a lot more atmospheric. I'm hoping that we'll be able to make things a bit more kind of visually interesting there, but I do kind of feel it's a bit more, yeah, it's a bit more atmospheric. What do you think? I love your intro for video. Oh, thank you very much. That's why I'm still wearing warm clothes. Excellent. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome, steaming from Lagos, Nigeria. Is that streaming or are you actually steaming in Lagos, Nigeria? Hey, it could be both. 40 degrees, it's cold then. Celsius, John, Celsius. Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's been a not much of a week to write home about in crypto, has it? We last time I live streamed this time last week, everyone I think was in a pretty good mood because of the merge, that successful merge, and that well, I mean that bubble got burst pretty quickly, didn't it? It was markets kind of headed downwards, headed south after that. There's a few reasons I think, but basically, yeah, as I said in a video earlier this week, it just felt like the cold, dead hand of reality sort of gripped us all on the shoulder and went, sorry guys, everything is still pretty crappy out there in the world, out there in the big macroeconomic landscape. So it's Yeah, it's been a funny old week, really. It's been a funny old week, but there's still lots going on in the crypto space. There's the Messari Mainnet going on over in New York City, isn't there? Is there one more day of Mainnet? I haven't really been following that too much, although I did see Brad Garlinghouse was speaking there not so long ago. He was chatting with Ryan Selkis, who is he's always entertaining, isn't he? Okay, so shall I give you a bit of a rundown about all the things that I'm planning to talk about today? I'm going to go live for the next 55 minutes. I'm trying to be a bit more disciplined about how long I do these for, so I don't kind of ramble on too much. Because you know what I'm like, folks. If you let me be, I'll just ramble on incessantly. So I'm going to try and be a bit more disciplined in these. That's the order of the day. So this is well. First of all, we'll kick off in a minute when I'm going to do my best Charles Hoskinson impression. See if we can start the stream off with one of his intros, because obviously today is Vasil hard fork day. I believe last time I checked Charles's Twitter, I believe we are about kind of 8 hours away. So that's exciting. So I'll definitely be talking about Cardano and Vasil. Obviously, I talked about them a bit last week. Not an awful lot more to say, really. I want to talk a bit about some things that CZ said at Messari Mainnet recently, because I think he's always got a good perspective on the industry. I want to talk a little bit about Jesse Powell. Some sad news about Jesse Powell today, actually. Don't worry, he's not dead or anything. He's just leaving Kraken, which is sad. I'm going to talk about this stablecoin bill that seems to be sort of working its way through the US legislature. There's this thing with Ian Ballina and the SEC, isn't there? That's interesting. Crikey, I've been following that over the past couple of days. So we'll have a chat about that as well. Then obviously going to talk about my favorite topic of all, which is the Federal Reserve and interest rates and inflation and all that sort of stuff. Because, folks, I mean, that is why the markets are currently looking as unhappy as they are. Basically, it's all Jerome Powell's fault. Again. So I'll be talking about what Jerome said and what it could all mean. Oh, gosh, he said a lot, didn't he? I will also, there's the Wintermute hack as well. Gosh, apparently that could have been a lot worse. Anyhow, job losses coming for Meta. Now, this is a bit of a, this has implications for, well, not just for the wider economy, but also for crypto as well. China's rolling out its CBDCs still further. Ugh. I've got there's something about Elrond I wanted to talk about quickly. The LBRY SEC case, Michael Saylor, the Nasdaq, XRP, Algorand. Good Lord, Vasil hard fork. Wow, quite a lot to get through, isn't there, folks? Quite a lot to get through. Anyhow, how are you guys all doing in the comments? Thursday is the new Friday. Yes, exactly. That's why I've decided to move these Coin Bureau live streams to a Thursday, because let's face it, Friday, everyone's got much better things to be doing than watching some middle-aged guy on YouTube and TikTok talk about crypto or wander off topic when supposed to be talking about crypto. So there's an American singer named Jesse Powell that actually did die since last week's live stream, says Wheeze Macheese. Goodness. I must say I'd never heard of the American singer Jesse Powell, but that is very sad. Obviously, the Jesse Powell I'm referring to, A, is not dead, and B, has left Kraken, was Kraken's CEO until just recently. Okay, so, all right, let's scan through. Let's have a look at my notes here. So first of all, okay, I promised you my Charles Hoskinson impersonation, so here we go. Hi, this is Guy from Coin Bureau, broadcasting live from hot and sunny Dubai. Always hot, always sunny, and yeah, it was Dubai last time I looked. How was that? Not one of your better ones, Guy. Move on. Charles, if you're watching, don't be offended. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Okay. Is anyone still watching after that? I do apologize. I don't really know where that came from. I had an idea about 5 minutes before I went on. I thought, I've always wanted to do a Charles Hoskinson style intro. And it looks like pretty much everyone's left the stream. I do apologize. Okay, let's move swiftly on then. Okay, so obviously, as I said, Messari Mainnet conference going on at the moment. Lots of cool people speaking there, including the one and only Changpeng Zhao. CEO of Binance, a man so important, he's known only by his initials. Now, this is a guy, bear in mind, folks, this is a guy who, in this bear market, has lost a significant amount of his net worth. And when we're talking CZ's net worth, that is billions upon billions of dollars worth. But he is still bullish. This was quoted in Decrypt earlier. Price corrections are actually good, CZ said, adding that investors shouldn't look at token prices as signs of how the crypto market is doing. Very wise words from CZ there, folks. I know, because, yeah, the markets are not particularly great to look at the moment, but folks, the building goes on. Don't worry too much about the prices. I know your portfolios are probably down. Most people's portfolios are down. That's what a bear market is all about, folks. But there is lots of interesting stuff happening in the background. People like CZ are not worried. Sam Bankman-Fried is certainly not worried. I mean, he's just on a spending spree, SBF, isn't he? Another man so important he gets known by his initials. So yeah, I think that's some. I wanted to start off with those encouraging words from HRHCZ there, because I think that's an important thing to remember. And he was also quoted as saying, "Ride out the winter." It's going to be a long winter, folks, especially if Jerome Powell and his buddies at the Fed have their way. But we've just got to ride it out, because after winter, spring will come eventually. But it could be a while. So stay positive, people. Very, very important. How are we all doing after that? Good. There seems to be generally a good mood going on in the comments. That's good. So yes, this news about Jesse Powell, obviously not the American singer, but Jesse Powell, the former CEO of Kraken. Jesse Powell is, I think, one of the coolest crypto OGs. He's also, it has to be said, owner of one of the greatest haircuts, the greatest barnets in all of cryptocurrency. I mean, that really takes some beating, doesn't it? But yeah, he's been in the crypto space since almost year zero, really. Kraken's 2011, Kraken was founded. That absolutely blows my mind. It really does. Kraken has been around for a very, very long time, and yeah, he's stepping back from being Kraken CEO. He's going to become more of a work on more sort of industry advocacy, things like that. Hopefully, using his platform and using his his great mind to promote crypto in the wider world. And I was just reading through a couple of articles talking about him stepping down. He said that running Kraken had become, and I quote, less fun. And this is something I've often wondered, folks. I've often thought, I think running an exchange, obviously there's tremendous upside to running an exchange, I would imagine, especially when the bull market is going on. But it sounds to me like one of those jobs that is probably about 50% absolutely awesome and 50% just a massive pain in the behind. And it sounds like for old Jesse Powell, or JP, as we should call him, it sounded like the massive pain in the behind aspect of it just got a bit too much. So that's sad that he's stepping back, but I hope he's still going to be vocal in the industry. He's got a lot to say. He's a very, very smart guy. And also, actually, one of my favorite stories in all of crypto features Jesse Powell. This is a story, I think it's from about sort of 2012, 2013, when Mt. Gox was going. And there's a story about how him and Roger Ver, because Roger Ver was living in Tokyo, very near where Mt. Gox's offices were. And they both sort of went along to try and help Mark Karpeles, who was the Mt. Gox CEO, a man in the wrong job, if ever there was an example of that. But yeah, they went along to kind of help him out, try and get Mt. Gox into some sort of shape, try and sort things out a little bit. And it got to, everything was just piling up. There was so much work to do. And apparently it got to Friday evening. And they were sort of leaving, and and Mark Karpeles was locking up, and apparently Jesse and Roger were sort of like, okay, so see you back here tomorrow, more of the same. And apparently Mark Karpeles was just like, no, it's the weekend, see you on Monday. Which, yeah, kind of tells you all you need to know about what was happening at Mt. Gox at the time, really. But yeah, that is one of my favorite crypto stories of all. So Jesse Powell, let's hope we see a lot more of him, and let's hope he has a lot more fun now that he's not having to run Kraken. Okay. People in the comments. Mark Everett says the Fed sucks. Yes, it does. The Fed has a lot to answer for, doesn't it? These are the guys who said inflation was transitory. Don't worry, inflation's transitory. It's all fine, not to worry. And obviously, there's all those memes, aren't there, about inflation. Okay, it's going to stick around a little bit longer. Yeah. Thanks, guys. And now, now they are the guys raising interest rates. Everyone else is following suit. We have got an absolute bonanza of interest rate rises this week. So for someone like me who finds these sort of things absolutely fascinating, as you can imagine, this is just a crazy week for me, guys. So I'm just trying to keep a lid on my excitement here with all these interest rate rises going on. Do you think we could have a 5-year bear market? Yeesh. No, I don't think it's going to last that long, but we've certainly got another couple of years ahead of us, I would say. Certainly don't make any sort of bull related plans for 2023. That is for certain. I don't really expect things to be picking up until 2024 at the earliest. And I mean, really, going on what Jerome Powell has been saying, which we'll get to in a few minutes, it could be sort of nearer 2025 at this rate. So yeah, I don't think we're going to have a 5-year bear market, thank goodness. But certainly we are in this for the long haul, folks. We are in this for the long haul. So buckle up if you haven't buckled up already. Okay, shirt and sweater in Dubai. Turn down the AC. It's actually colder in here than it looks. Yeah, colder in here in my little cave. Okay, let's move on. What else did I want to talk about? Okay, so we've also got this stablecoin bill that is working its way ever so slowly through the US legislature. I can never say that word. I probably should have thought of something else. So the latest development is that they are now apparently considering a 2-year ban on algorithmic stablecoins. Now, as you'll know, folks, obviously, when it comes to US regulators, the first thing they think about when the word stablecoins comes up is Luna and UST, and they get their panties in a right old twist about that. So this is the latest thing, banning a 2-year ban. I'm not quite sure what happens after 2 years, although that could actually be an encouraging sign. Perhaps the fact that they're talking about a 2-year ban on these algorithmic stablecoins means that maybe that is designed to give them time to kind of understand how they work, which would certainly be a very enlightened position for those folks in Congress to be taking. So fingers crossed. But yeah, a 2-year ban at the moment. This is something that's being floated at the moment. As I say, hopefully a delay to allow for more research into algorithmic stables. That would be good. But yeah, as I said, I made a video yesterday for here on Coin Bureau Clips, where I talked about the fact that there is a ton of regulation coming towards the crypto space. It's coming very, very slowly, but it is coming, folks. So we need to be prepared for that. And this is something that is going to, if these regulations aren't enlightened, and I think there's going to be a split. I think some of these regulations in some places will be enlightened. I think some people, certainly in the US government and in governments elsewhere, some people actually get it. Some people understand that crypto is this amazing technology. It needs to be harnessed. It needs to be encouraged. It needs to be allowed to grow. And then, unfortunately, you've got all the others who say, no, it just needs to be banned because they don't understand it. It goes over their head. So, yeah, we're set for a lot of wrangling, a lot of regulatory stuff over the next, few months and possibly years. So, again, buckle up. There's a lot to be buckling up for there, isn't there, folks? Okay, right. How else are we doing? How's everyone getting on in the comments? 2 years to give time for CBDC. Yeah, that is a big old elephant in the room. A US central bank digital currency. They are kind of working on it. They're working on FedNow, this fast payment system, aren't they? They seem to be getting increasingly kind of excited about that. CBDCs are something else that are coming as well. And yeah, this is something that I've again speculated on a lot, that a lot of this crypto regulation could be designed to try and eliminate any competition for a CBDC, both in the USA and elsewhere as well, because it ain't the US who are just working on it. And in fact, a lot of other countries are pretty well advanced with their CBDC plans, including China. Well, we'll talk about China in a few minutes or so. Okay, someone asking about the Algorand pump. Yes, well, I know why Algorand is pumping. I'm not... That's the lowest form of humor, isn't it? Pick up on a typo and make a joke out of it. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to talk about Algorand shortly. It is on my list of things to waffle on about. Yeah, that's the Stablecoin Bill coming soon to a legislature near you. Then we've also got, I mean, the SEC is, these guys are just everywhere at the moment. Now, again, something, this is a little bit conspiracy theory, but I think because it's the end of the SEC's fiscal year, one of the reasons why they're being so vocal and making such a nuisance of themselves at the moment is because they want to try and justify a higher budget. Because I imagine they have blown an absolute ton of money on trying to do battle with Ripple. Now, Ripple, obviously extremely well funded. It seems like they've got some very, very good lawyers because their defense has been pretty robust in the case against the SEC, which, as we all know, has been dragging on since the late Cretaceous period. So I think the SEC is probably trying to pitch for a lot more money. It is going after more and more people. The latest is Ian Ballina. I don't know if any of you remember him. He was kind of, his kind of heyday was back around the 2017 bull market. They are basically charging him with promoting unregistered ICOs. And I think it's one in particular, Sparkster. And I mean, there's some extraordinary stuff in the filing. I don't really want to talk too much about, you know, the ins and outs of the Ian Ballina case per se. What I am interested in, though, is something that I saw in the filing where the SEC was trying to argue. Now, this relates to an investment pool that Ian Ballina is supposed to have started, and I think he ran it through Telegram. And investors were able to send ETH to this pool, and the SEC is arguing that because this ETH was sent on the Ethereum network, and at the time there was a majority of Ethereum network nodes, the majority of those Ethereum network nodes were based in the US at the time, that those transactions took place in the United States and are therefore subject to US jurisdiction, i.e. subject to SEC jurisdiction. Now, that is, I mean, that is a bit of a long shot from the SEC, and I imagine that Ian Ballina's lawyers will absolutely tear into that one. But it just shows that, you know, I think it kind of serves to highlight a lot of the centralization concerns that there are around ETH. You know, these things are even more top of mind at the moment now that Ethereum has switched to proof of stake. So, yeah, it's an interesting case, and I think it's going to have a lot of implications. So I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on that one because, yeah, and again, I think really it's more interesting what is being said or what is being implied by the SEC about ETH. And remember, of course, as the merge was happening last week, Gary Gensler, the bald destroyer, was testifying in front of US politicians. And I've just been working on a video about that testimony, folks. That is going to be coming out, I think. Now, I made a note of this. When am I going to put out the Gary video, the Gary testimony video? That is going to come out on Sunday. So there's something for you to look forward to, folks. Haven't got any Sunday plans? You have now. It's a bit of a beast, that video as well. I love sort of digging down into those testimonies in front of US politicians, especially because they are so revealing. They are so interesting about what these people testifying are thinking. And you know what Gary thinks is obviously very, very instructive as to what the rest of his team at the SEC are thinking too. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, obviously, as I say, whilst Ethereum was transitioning, Gary was there sort of suggesting that he thinks ETH is a security, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, It's there's a there's an awful lot on our plate at the moment, folks, isn't there? An awful lot of big things to well, I guess be concerned about. There's a lot to be positive about as well. There's a lot to look forward to. But yeah, these are certainly going to be an interesting few months. These are going to be the sort of months, folks. This is going to be the sort of year that we all look back on and go, 2022, I was there, man. I was there. I lived through it. Whew, it was tough. I don't know why I speak in an American accent now, but that's how tough it was. Anyway, aren't lives on Friday usually? They were, Manuel, but I've switched. As I say, I think it's asking a bit too much of my wonderful Coin Bureau fans. I think it's asking a bit too much of them to give up some of their precious Friday, just as the weekend is about to hit them. Too much to ask you to tune in on Friday. So I thought we'd start the weekend early. How about that? It's also because I just found myself becoming manically busy on Friday. We've kind of adjusted our shooting schedule a little bit here at Coin Bureau, basically trying to kind of even it out because we're doing a lot more kind of production work on our videos. I hope that you've noticed we've kind of upped the production values on a few of our videos, and that is still very much a work in progress. But what it means is that our videos, both for clips and for our main channel, tend to take a bit longer to make. So I've kind of had to adjust my schedule. Hence, that is one of the reasons why these lives are now on Thursdays. And I did kind of put it to the floor last week. I did get, in general, a kind of thumbs up, I think, certainly from the people on clips. TikTok, what did you think? Again, are people happy with the fact that we have live streams on Thursdays? Is this better? Is everyone feeling a bit more zen about it now? Let me know in the comments. Thursday, 3 p.m. live stream works better for me. Okay, Matt. I presume you're in the UK if it's 3 p.m. Ah, UK. It's good to hear the old time again. Anyway, yes, Thursday better. Okay, Thursday's good for me. Right, that's it. It's official. I know I said that last week, but it's 2 times official. It's doubly official. Coin Bureau live streams are now on Thursdays. Okay, yeah, it's good. Okay, so we've talked about Ian Berlin. All right, folks, it's time to talk about the Fed. Because yesterday, Wednesday, we had another interest rate hike. It was 75 basis points. There were a few people out there who thought that it could. I think there was about a sort of 18 to 20% chance, according to the FedWatch tool, that we could see a full percentage point hike, but that didn't materialize. I would have been pretty shocked if we'd seen that, because I don't think even Jerome Powell at this stage is quite ready to inflict that sort of pain on the markets. It was interesting to watch, wasn't it? Because we saw this rate rise come through. It was 75 basis points. That's kind of what everyone expected. As I've said a million times, people, markets, they like a bit of certainty. They like to have their suspicions confirmed. Obviously, I think people would rather have seen a 50 basis point hike or maybe no hike at all. But everyone who wasn't overdosing on hopium knew that we had a rate hike coming. It was what was expected. And then everything started dumping. And the reason for that is that Big Daddy Jerome came out with his speech, and really, this was about as hawkish as I have seen him. Obviously, he made some comments last month at the Jackson Hole Symposium, where he was starting to turn pretty hawkish, even more hawkish in these latest comments. Basically, he thinks that the Fed won't reach its 2% inflation target until 2025. So perhaps that's why someone was speculating in the comments. Maybe a few people were speculating in the comments that we could see a bear market last until 2025. But yeah, so Jerome Powell is very, very hawkish. Basically, the Federal Reserve is trying to crush demand by hiking these interest rates. The consensus is it's going to be well over 4% by the end of the year. That is going to be a huge hike. And these are, this is historical, folks. These are the biggest rate hikes in 40 years. So this, again, this is big news. This is big news not just for crypto. This is big news for everything, markets worldwide. There's a quote from Jerome here from his speech as well. "We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there was a painless way to do that. There isn't." And he's certainly right there. He's certainly right. And I think, you know, basically, I think the feeling is from the Fed, they were too slow out of the gates to try and get inflation under control. They're now making up for lost time. The feeling is that we have to take this very, very painful medicine now, because if we leave it too late, well, it'll be too late. And inflation will be absolutely out of control. And the last thing I think anyone wants is hyperinflation, because that is when things start to really go south. So it's a necessary evil, really, these interest rate hikes. Like them or not, we've just got to swallow them. Oh, Tony Topolarov, hello from Bulgaria. Everyone is talking about ETH merge stages, but Vitalik tweeted they are not stages. They all happen in parallel. No, I think it is going to come in stages. There are going to be transactions in parallel once sharding is in place. But Tony, your comment caught my eye. Happy Bulgarian Independence Day. Is that right? I'm surprised anyone in Bulgaria is watching. I was informed on last week's live stream that Bulgarian Independence Day is a big old deal, and everyone gets absolutely trolleyed and enjoys themselves. So if you're watching from, well, if you're a Cardano fan and you're watching from Bulgaria, I presume today is just absolutely amazing for you. So anyhow, I want to get back to talking about Jerome and his, all the stuff he's been up to. So, we've got that. We've had that interest rate hike today. There is going to be another. Fortunately, we've got October off, folks. There will be no interest rate rises come October because there is no Federal Open Markets Committee meeting in October. The next one is very early in November. So enjoy October while it lasts, folks, because come November, it will be back to rate hiking business as usual. I think the FOMC meeting is either the 1st or 2nd of November, I think. So it's going to hit us pretty hard. And I imagine that will be another 75 basis point hike. That is what I'm expecting at the moment. And I think that is the general consensus in the markets as well. I'm from Romania, near Bulgaria. Has any excitement from Bulgarian Independence Day spilled over into neighboring Romania? Does that sort of thing happen? In the same way that everyone gets excited about St. Patrick's Day, even though they're not in Ireland. I must say, I see someone saying hello from Chicago. Speaking of St. Patrick's Day, I remember experiencing St. Patrick's Day in Chicago many, many years ago. That was something else. Wow, I didn't know at that time just how hard you Americans went for it. And they dye the Chicago River green. I mean, only in America, folks. Anyhow, I'm wandering off topic. How are we doing for time, by the way? Oh, we've got lots of time. We're only halfway through. Still lots of time for me to chatter on. Good. Hello from Washington State. Hello from Luxembourg. Thanks all for joining us. How many hours until the Cardano hard fork? Hi from just up the road in Scotland. Oh, wonderful. I've got family in Scotland. Sorry, Cardano hard fork is about 8 hours away, 7.5 hours away, I believe. Check out Charles Hoskinson's Twitter account. He'll be keeping you posted on that. But I'm going to talk about Vasil in just a few moments or so. Yeah, there's all sorts of fun macro stuff coming from these interest rate rises. I think we're also going to see some pain in the US housing market and housing markets elsewhere as well, because as these interest rate rises start to bite, I think we are going to see the housing market start to suffer. House sales, I think, are going to dip because much fewer people are going to fancy taking out a mortgage where the repayments are going to absolutely crush them. So I think we could well be in for a housing shock as well. I've covered this on our main YouTube channel once or twice, I think. There is quite a recent video about the housing market, not just in the US, but I think it's out of control in the UK, or it has been. New Zealand as well. Apparently their housing market is just on fire. Hi from Australia. G'day, sir or ma'am. Okay, and well, we've still got this. There's so many macro factors kind of weighing on markets and contributing to all this inflation. Obviously, this energy situation is still pretty precarious. And obviously this war in Ukraine, it's terrible, isn't it? It just seems to be getting worse and worse. So there's a lot of pressures. There's a lot of pressure on the market. There's a lot of factors keeping inflation high, which means interest rates are going to keep climbing, folks. And that is bad for risk on assets. That is bad for stocks, and it is bad for crypto. So you have to be prepared for, I think, lower crypto prices from here. I don't think the bottom is in for this bear market by any stretch of the imagination. So you need to be prepared for that, folks. What else has been going on? Now, this week, as someone pointed out to me, this week is like the Super Bowl for central banks for interest rate hikes. They are just hiking them all over the world. I think Brazil, Sweden, several others, and of course, the UK. Now, here's a glimpse of what it's like to be British, folks. Basically, being British is all about watching what the Americans do and then doing the same thing, but smaller. Because the Bank of England has also raised interest rates today, but by 50 basis points. So, Big Daddy Jerome and his buddies, 75 for them, but not for us Brits, just 50. So, and actually, it's interesting, again, crazy stats with these interest rates. The Bank of England rate is now the highest it's been since 2008. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's not good, folks. It's not good. Okay, Bulgaria too. Oh, good. Great to see lots of Bulgarians in the audience and joining our usual cohort of Romanians and people from everywhere, really. I just love seeing all these people across the world tuning in. How are our numbers looking, by the way? How many people are watching? We had so many people watching the stream last week, and I think that probably had something to do with the merge, and everyone's sort of really, really excited. I see the numbers are a little lower this week. I don't blame you, folks. I don't blame anyone who's not watching. It's been a painful old week. But those of you who are watching, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being. Thank you for your loyalty. It's great to see you. And hey, even if there was just one person watching, I would still enjoy doing it. So it's great to have you all here from wherever you're from, and more Bulgarians. This is wonderful. DGen Travis, I'm going to London for the first time for NFT London. Any tips for a London newbie? Whew, I've got lots. As a born and bred Londoner, don't bother with the London Eye and don't bother with Madame Tussauds. They're both crap. Just wander around and just soak up London. Central London is really cool. There's amazing stuff to see there. Soho is awesome. Loads of good restaurants, loads of cool bars and pubs. Actually, my favorite part of London is Hackney. Get yourself out of the centre, get yourself on the Overground or the Victoria Line, get up to Highbury and Islington and wander along to Hackney. That is a really, really fun part of London. So those are my tips. Anyhow, I've wandered off topic. Oh, by the way, folks, I've been meaning to say, if you enjoy our content, if you love what we do, then do check out the bio for our YouTube channels because we have a deals page there where you can get lots of cool deals. They are only for Coin Bureau viewers, and they can help you kind of make the most of this bear market as much as you can do so during these rather straitened times. So yeah, absolutely shameless shill going on there. That's the last of that. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Again, kind of macro factors that are sort of weighing on the market as well. We've also got the news that we are looking at job losses at both Meta and Google. Now, this is a kind of good bellwether for the wider economy as well, because when we see high interest rates start to bite, when we see productivity going down, when we see companies' bottom lines getting hit, often the first thing to go is things like ad spend. Now, obviously, if companies cut back on their ad spend, this particularly hurts the likes of Meta and Google. And obviously, Meta got really shafted by Apple recently as well when they updated privacy settings for iOS. So Meta is having a tough old time at the moment. It's looking to lay off, I think it was about 10% of its staff, which is not good news. Obviously, companies cut back on ad spend in difficult times, and then once they've cut back on ad spend, they cut back on headcount as well. So I think this is a good bellwether for what we're going to see come the new year. We're going to see, I think, more job losses. We're going to see just much tougher. I think the job market in the US has been really, really strong lately, and that's been one of the things that I think has kind of stayed the Fed's hand when it's come to raising interest rates. But I think the job market is starting to weaken stateside as well. Any viewers stateside, what do you think? Is this becoming noticeable? Are you kind of starting to feel the pinch over there? I think people are starting to feel the pinch everywhere. How's the weather in Dubai? How did you know that as a Brit, my favorite topic of conversation is the weather? The weather in Dubai is absolutely boiling. I can't get over it. I really can't. You sort of think, oh, I'll just step out and get a bit of fresh air. It's like walking into an oven. Very, very weird. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I've been here for about 3 weeks now. Which is quite a long time. This is the longest I've been out of the UK for a long time. Someone's saying, no, the pinch is mostly in the tech job sector. Okay, so that's not being felt so much in the wider job sector. It's mostly just tech jobs that are struggling. Obviously, tech had a massive bull run as well over the last couple of years. So yeah, that seems to be crashing back to earth as well. And obviously, it's important for crypto folks because crypto and tech stocks are very heavily correlated at the moment. That is just the way it is. So I think that could be, this bad news from the likes of Google and Meta could be a bit of a canary in the coal mine for wider markets as well. Hi, my man. I love your content. Thanks, bro. Oh, thanks very much. That's very nice of you to say. And again, thank you everyone for watching. Yoga with Amit, greetings from Vietnam. Wonderful. Housing slowing here in WA. Is that Western Australia? Ooh, don't tax my mind with with acronyms at this time of the evening. Hello from Brazil. I agree. Are you having a meetup in Dubai? Yes, we are, Chucks, at some point. I'm here until at least the Future Blockchain Summit, which is in a couple of weeks' time. And I think we are going to do a Coin Bureau meetup around that summit too. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Macy is on hand. That's one of the reasons why Macy hasn't been joining me in streams lately. She is busy organizing me. That woman is busy as hell, I tell you, busy as heck. Anyhow, what else did I want to talk about today? This business of China rolling out its central bank digital currency still further. Folks, on the off chance there are any of you out there who kind of thinking to yourselves, I don't think this CBDC business sounds quite so bad. I think it could be all right. I think Guy and all these other folks are making a bit of a storm in a teacup, a mountain out of a molehill. Folks, if you want any better illustration of why a CBDC anywhere is going to be bad news, the fact that China is pursuing its digital yuan so aggressively should be all the info you need. China is, even I think Hong Kong, I saw, is now working on a CBDC as well. And just bear in mind, folks, what if the government could have oversight of your financial records? If you can see someone's financial records, you know almost everything about them. It's so much information to have, and you can understand why the Chinese government wants to have oversight of its citizens' financial records, and the scope for what they will be able to do with that information is truly, truly terrifying. So, folks, CBDCs are coming. It is on us to resist. Do not adopt them. Push back, because they are bad news. And the fact that China is pursuing it so aggressively is all the evidence you need of that. And just the control that the Chinese Communist Party is going to have over Chinese citizens with its CBDC is going to be absolutely insane. CBDC poo emoji. Absolutely. That's the spirit. That is the spirit, Noel G. Keep resisting. Okay. All right, it's time to talk about some of the things I've noticed. Basically, let's go back to the market. Let's go back to CoinGecko quickly. And yeah, everything's suffering at the moment, but there are a few things, a few coins and tokens that have had a bit of a pump over the last few days. And the first of those, well, let's talk about XRP, because there seems to be a bit of movement in this case versus the SEC. I was watching a bit of Jeremy Hogan over on Legal Briefs earlier. He seems to be, it seems to be like we could be heading for a decision in this case. Now, the last time I kind of looked into this in detail, it looked like it was going to take at least until the end of this year for us to get a decision. But it seems like we could be moving closer to one. And I think that is a big reason, obviously, behind the pump that XRP has seen in the last few days or so. And I think it's rallied a bit recently. Obviously, Brad Garlinghouse has been talking at the Messari Mainnet conference with good old Ryan Selkis. And there was also, I noticed a bit of news. One of the CFTC commissioners visited Ripple Labs earlier this week. That is a potentially good sign, folks, because the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, is a much more enlightened body, a much more enlightened US regulatory body when it comes to cryptocurrency. It is not nearly as reactionary and ill-informed as the SEC. So that could be an encouraging sign for Ripple and XRP as well. And it seems like the SEC has been making, concessions in its case against Ripple. A quote I noticed in Jeremy Hogan's video: "Nowhere in the SEC's motion for summary judgment does it argue that XRP is inherently a security." Now, there's a lot more to it than that, folks. I always recommend Jeremy Hogan, because he and the Legal Briefs channel, it's an excellent resource if you want to keep up with everything that's going on with XRP. Yeah, do go and visit that. But yeah, I think that's the reason why XRP has had a pretty good week, really. There seems to be some renewed confidence that it could actually win this case against the SEC. Now, this, don't get me wrong, folks, this would be absolutely fantastic for crypto. I don't think it's going to send the entire crypto market to the moon because, look, you just need to zoom out, folks. There's so much else weighing on the crypto market. So I think be wary, people saying, "Oh well, if Ripple wins this case, everything's going to be fine." No, that's not the case, folks. That's not the case. I think it will be long-term, very, very good news for the crypto market, but don't expect an enormous pump, and certainly don't expect a massive moonshot for all coins and tokens. It'll obviously be good news for XRP. I think it will be probably a fairly short-lived pump. I may be wrong. I hope I am. But yeah, the crypto market needs some good news, and we could be getting it from that Ripple versus SEC case. I'm not going to hold my breath quite yet, folks, because, as I've said before, the wheels of justice turn really, really slowly. And like I say, this case has been dragging on for years now. So, but yeah, there certainly seems to be some good news coming out of that. Obviously, we keep waiting for the really good news that that completely ridiculous case from the SEC gets thrown out. Okay, what's everyone saying in the comments? I hear you. Good. How about RSR? I'm not all that familiar, I must admit. Okay. Why don't you look at MetisDAO? Is MetisDAO, that's Vitalik's mum's coin, isn't it? I was talking about that with one of my colleagues here at Coin Bureau recently. They are very excited about MetisDAO. They seem to think it's pretty awesome. I must admit, I haven't had a proper chance to dig into it yet. All I know is it's Vitalik's mum's project, and I mean, if that isn't a bullish signal, I don't know what is. Not financial advice, folks. Yeah, MetisDAO, that's something I do need to look into as well. Someone saying 12K bottom for BTC. Yes, quite possibly. Quite possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. Okay. What else did I want to talk about as well? Michael Saylor is still buying BTC. I mean, he's just determined to prop up the entire market, isn't he? When Michael Saylor stops buying, that's when we get worried, folks. This guy just keeps on going. Like I said, I think I've said before, I'm pretty sure it's Michael Saylor's plan to eventually own every single BTC under the sun. So watch out, folks. Michael Saylor is coming for your BTC. One of these days, you'll get a knock on the door, and it will be Saylor and his crew, and yeah, trying to buy your BTC off you. So just be ready. Just be ready. Wait for the knock. Okay, and yeah, going back to legal cases, I said last week that we should be expecting a verdict in the LBRY versus SEC case, and yeah, I was thinking we were going to see something either last Thursday or Friday, and it still hasn't materialized. So I don't know what's going on there. I've been kind of keeping an eye on LBRY's Twitter account, but there just doesn't seem to be much movement again. Again, just the wheels of justice just turning far too slowly. Anyhow, yeah, we are still waiting. And obviously this LBRY case, now obviously the SEC case is a big deal for all of crypto. The SEC versus XRP case is a big deal for all of crypto, but the LBRY case, obviously LBRY is a much smaller project. It's flown under the radar a little bit, but the LBRY case against the SEC is also a big deal for crypto, because if the SEC scores a win in that, then it could set a legal precedent. So all eyes are kind of on SEC versus XRP at the moment, but we do need to be keeping an eye on LBRY as well, folks, because that could be just as significant. So keep your eyes peeled. Okay, Vasil hard fork in like 7 to 8 hours. Yeah, something like that. We are getting close. We are getting close to the Vasil hard fork. What else did I want to talk about? I noticed as well some good news for Elrond just recently is integrating with the Opera browser. Now, Opera has integrated with a few other blockchains, I think Ethereum, Polygon, Bitcoin, BNB chain as well, but it's now also integrating with Elrond. And something I didn't know about Opera, I don't use Opera myself. I use the Brave browser is my kind of browser of choice. But I noticed that Opera has over 300 million users, which is pretty damn impressive. So I think this is good news for Elrond and eGold. This is a good integration for the project to be having. So that could be long-term bullish for them as well. So there's some good news. We're just clutching at any bits of good news we can find here, folks. More good news, NASDAQ is offering crypto custody services. So this could attract more. This will obviously make institutions, I think, more comfortable investing in crypto in the future. Again, I don't think this is going to have really much of an effect in the short term. And obviously, we've seen institutional money isn't always the best thing for crypto, but if it helps more projects grow, if it helps more cool projects get off the ground and keep going, then that is good. So there's some good news. NASDAQ offering crypto custody services, and obviously good custodial services is something apparently that the SEC is kind of waiting on in order to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. Something, again, don't hold your breath on the spot Bitcoin ETF, folks. I don't know why I'm even mentioning it, because that ain't happening anytime soon. Trust me. Okay, so we've talked about Elrond, we've talked about XRP pumping as well. Algorand has had a nice little pump as well. Now this is because I think of the state proofs upgrade, which has increased Algorand's TPS to 6,000 transactions per second, and I think this is only the beginning as well. As I understand it, Algorand has got a lot more scaling to do, but this is great news for Algorand. That's the reason I think we've seen a nice little pump for Algo recently. I kind of dug around a bit. I was interested to see what else was happening with Algorand. I noticed that an Afghan e-payment platform called Hisab Pay has migrated to Algorand, and the figure that caught my eye was apparently that could mean up to 6,000 extra transactions per day. So I noticed, yeah, an interesting overlap. Obviously, 6,000 transactions per second and 6,000 transactions per day. Kind of a bit of disparity between them, but I think Algorand, now that it can process 6,000 transactions per second, should be able to hang handle all the traffic from Hisab Pay. But yeah, this is an Afghan e-payment platform, and I was kind of reading about it. It sounds really interesting. It sounds like a way for ordinary Afghans, obviously, who have got quite a lot of problems to deal with. It sounds like a really good way for them to kind of, exchange money, exchange value, participate in some aspect of the financial system. And this, for me, is a really good example of a crypto project doing what crypto projects are supposed to do. They are, what crypto as a whole is supposed to do. It is supposed to help bank the unbanked. It is supposed to help people access the financial system that they've been locked out from. So I think that's just as good news, really. And apparently that Hisab Pay migrated over to Algorand from Stellar. Now there's Stellar. I haven't really kept my eye on Stellar very much recently. I did notice that Jed McCaleb, obviously Stellar CEO, I did notice that he appears to have joined the Bored Billionaires Spaceman Club. Did any of you see this news? He's building a artificial gravity space station. Basically funded by XRP, I think, very much. Yeah, this does seem to be, I think, basically what happens when you become a multi-billionaire like Jed McCaleb has through all his sales of XRP. You basically sort of wonder what to do for a bit, and then you think, I know, I'll do something. I'll try and get humans into space. So I presume he's joined the likes of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson at the big boys billionaire space club. I imagine they have sort of very expensive dinners and get up to all sorts of shenanigans. So yeah, anyhow, that's wandering a little off topic. Good Lord, oh my word, I've only got about 5 minutes left of this stream, folks. Goodness me. So what else was I going to talk about as well? Obviously, Vasil hard fork coming up now, folks. Just bear one thing in mind. If Ethereum's merge didn't move the market all that much, then don't expect Vasil to as well. Vasil, even if it goes to plan, which it sounds like it is, most exchanges are on board. Most exchanges and the top dApps on Cardano all apparently seem to be on board. Apparently, last time I checked, 98% of mainnet blocks were being produced using Vasil nodes, and yeah, I think most of the exchanges as well. And I think Charles Hoskinson had kind of been talking about that was a big deal, a big part of what would make Vasil successful is that exchanges, obviously, who control a lot of the ADA liquidity, they needed to be on board, and it seems like most of them are. So as it looks at the moment, it seems as though the Vasil hard fork is going to plan. So fingers crossed for that. That would be a good thing to see. Obviously, folks, as you know, I hold ADA in my portfolio. So important to let you know that. But yeah, that's some good news. So we should be seeing that in around kind of 6 or 7 hours time. Someone saying Cosmos potential. Jamal, Cosmos is one of my favorite projects. Watch my recent video over on our main YouTube channel all about it. I think Cosmos has got an absolute ton of potential. Short term, it's struggling like everything else, but I think, I think Cosmos is going to be one of those projects that will still be around in a good few years. So very, very excited about Cosmos. And Polkadot as well. Dave Jensen, guy uses Brave. Booyah! Yeah, Brave is awesome. I love Brave. I love Brave. Okay, when will market hit bottom? Flobber123. The market will hit bottom. Oh, I don't know. I think it could be soon, folks. I think it could be soon. I think as winter starts to bite here in the Northern Hemisphere, as all these nasty macro factors come into play, as interest rates climb, as inflation still runs hot, I think we could see a bottom sooner rather than later. So as I say, keep aware, folks. Keep aware. Be ready. And remember, folks, as I say this towards the end of every live stream every week. It's important like this at times like this when the markets aren't really doing anything exciting, when your portfolio isn't looking all that hot or extremely cold in a lot of cases. Just close your laptop, walk away, do something else. It'll still be there tomorrow. Don't let crypto get you down too much. keep yourself sane, guys. Keep yourself sane. Go out and get some fresh air. Unless you're here in Dubai, where it's too hot to go outside, in which case stay inside with the air conditioning on, like I do. Okay. Right. Anything I wanted to leave you with? So Saturday, a couple of days' time, I've got a video coming out. White House, a summary of the recent kind of White House report. As you remember, Joe Biden called for this had this executive order on cryptocurrency. He called for all these US bodies to report, and we've got a summary of what they said and their regulatory recommendations. So that is required watching for you on our main channel on Saturday, as I said. And we've also got this testimony video all about Gary Gensler's testimony in front of US politicians. That is coming for you on Sunday. 2 absolutely delicious videos coming up for you folks, as well as all the usual content. I've got another podcast episode with myself and Mad Mike that is coming at you tomorrow. That is just a bit of a post-merge breakdown. We're just going to be looking over, what happened with the merge. As you can imagine, folks, Mike was only sort of half paying attention whilst the merge was going on. He didn't tune in to the Ethereum Foundation live stream. Crazy. He missed out on so much fun. So I kind of explained to Mike in tomorrow's podcast episode exactly kind of what happened with the merge, and I'm afraid it all gets a bit gloomy in terms of outlook and stuff. So I really need suggestions from you. I tweeted out about this earlier today. I need suggestions from you folks. I want to talk on the podcast next week with Mike. I want to talk about something a bit more lighthearted, obviously, ideally to do with crypto. So any suggestions for what I can talk about with Mike that's not really, really depressing and all about the state of crypto at the moment, that would be most welcome. Anyway, folks, I have intruded upon your Thursday morning, afternoon, evening, or even night far too much. So I'm going to leave you to get on with what is left of your day. John, someone asking Luna. Let's not talk about Luna. No. Okay, thank you all for joining me so much. Thank you everyone on TikTok. Thank you everyone on Coin Bureau Clips. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm glad you like the new format. Now, also, do you prefer in the studio with our very sort of moody backdrop, or do you prefer kind of out in the office where it's a bit more light, it's a bit more echoey? But it's kind of different. What do you prefer? And do you like the sort of blue light, kind of mood lighting? I do. Anyhow, thank you very much. Billionaire Crypto Pet Projects. It's all about space, folks. Make your billions in crypto and then go and do something in space. Those are the rules, folks. I don't make them. Anyhow, thank you all so much for joining. This is Guy over and out, and please do join me same time, same place next week. Okay, ciao. Goodbye, everyone on Coin Bureau Clips.